After hitting the road for the first time in Big Sky Conference play last week, the Vikings are back home against Idaho State and Weber State this week at the Pamplin Sports Center at Lewis and Clark College. Coach, Vikings went 1-1 last week, a tough split on the road against Montana schools, defeating Montana State at home on Thursday, and then heading to Missoula to take on the Lady Grizz on Saturday. Talk about the weekend and kind of coming out of that with the split.
I think going into the week, getting back on the road again, having to adjust. We played at home for over a month, and so we had to get back on the road, and we did that early on. So we talked a lot about our non-conference, being on the road, having to adjust, atmosphere, fans, the different settings, being on the road, kind of getting back into our routine of being on the road. So I thought we did a great job, especially Thursday night. I think there's a lot of motivation, with them having the 31-game home winning streak. I mean, that put a lot of motivation for us to go in there and play a good basketball game. I think anytime you play a tough team on the road, it's tough to get any type of win, but knowing that they hadn't lost there for 2.5 years, I think for us it was great motivation for us to go in there and play a good basketball game. Coming out with the win, it was exciting for our team. We put a lot of effort and energy and into that game. We shot the ball extremely well, especially the second half, and we knew that Montana was a tough game as well. And they're playing with a lot of confidence right now. She's got a young team, but they had that experience last year. I think they're really taking advantage of that this year, playing with confidence, especially at home. So we knew it was going to be a tough game, and we fought through it. We weren't shooting the ball as well on Saturday, and we fought through it the first half, able to get to the free throw line, and then things kind of changed the second half. But I liked how we finished. We kept our energy up. Even though we weren't shooting the ball well, we kept the energy and our defensive presence up, and we're excited about the return for Montana State and Montana here in a couple weeks.
After a few weeks of the Big Sky Conference action, the few teams have separated themselves at top. Northern Colorado and Montana are both tied atop of the conference, and there's a few teams that have slid a little bit from their previous stature over the last few years. Talk about the Big Sky Conference and kind of how it's shaking out over the last few weeks.
Well, I think it's been a crazy, you look at the standings, it's been crazy to see the games and who's won which game, and teams on the road winning games. And so it's as any year that I've seen, it's going to be open as far as when we get to the tournament. It'll be exciting. I think almost any team could win it. I mean, you got North Dakota at the bottom, but they're one of our better teams. They couple breaks here and there, a couple possessions here and there, and they probably could be 4-1 as well. So you got a team like Weber State and Idaho State that are playing extremely well. Had a couple bumps here and there on the road, but other than that, they're coming in and they're going to be confident. I think any team this year has the opportunity in the tournament to show that they could be one of the top teams in our league.
Turning our attention to this week's opponents, we've got Idaho State first on the docket Thursday night at 8 p.m. The Bengals knocked us out of the postseason last year in the semifinals of the Big Sky tournament. They've got a lot of similar players back. Talk about the Bengals and what we expect to see Thursday night.
Well, you're going to get a tough physical team with Idaho State. They're well coached. They run their sets extremely well, very disciplined on defense. And so I think it's probably going to be more of the same. Some of the players have changed a little bit, but the idea is they run the same stuff. They execute extremely well. When their shooters are shooting the ball, they're a good team, and you see that. The games they haven't won, they didn't shoot the ball as well, but coming into this game, they'll be ready for the game. I mean, last year we played them once in the regular season at their place and then once at the postseason. So I think getting them this year, we get them twice, home and away, and we like the opportunity to play. We want to play the top teams in the league, and so having the opportunity to play them twice again, I think that will only help us for the postseason.
Weber State comes in on Saturday at 1 p.m. at the Pamplin Sports Center. They come in one of the hottest teams in the conference. They're 12-4 overall on the season, with 2 of their losses coming to Pac-12 opponents. They've one loss in conference and have one of the top scorers in the Big Sky. Talk about the Wildcats and what they present as a problem on Saturday.
Well, I think they've always been a hard guard. They've got, extremely dynamic guards. They usually play 4 guards and a post, and in the past they've been really good on offense. But I think this year their defense has really stepped up. They're being a lot more active. They're flying around to the ball. They're doing a good job of rebounding this year, and I think that's the difference in their overall win-loss record. they're a scary team. They're hard to defend, and if they get into the lane, that really allows them to open up on the outside and get their shots. And if they're falling, they're one of the best teams in the league.
A lot to look forward to this week at home as the Vikings take on Idaho State and Weber State. For more information, visit govikes.com.